Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. As you can see here, today's video is a Papercraft video. This is a Transformers craft video. So what I'm going to be doing here today is basically building a foam core Teletran-1 playset or play piece, I guess. And what I've done is I printed it out on photo paper, and you can see it's glossy. And have these 4 sheets. Now just note that this design is not my own. This was made available many years, but over 10 years ago online, and I'll post links to the original files in the description. But this was made available a long time ago, and I just recently found it in my old downloads folder and thought, wow, I've never built this yet, so I'm gonna build it. Now if you followed me on Instagram, you've probably seen I've already built one in just Papercraft, and over here is the one I built. It's just in cardstock paper, but for this video I'm going to actually build it in a more sturdy format using foam core. So I have my foam boards here that I have on the side, but before I do that we have to prep the files first. So over here we have 4 pages, and what I'm going to do is basically cut out these pieces and use an adhesive spray to stick them onto the foam board. So let's get started with cutting them out. So this one I'm probably going to leave as is because it actually takes up most of the space, because I don't want to cut it first. I want to cut it while it's on the foam board. So it's going to take some time. So let's put this guy aside and get this piece out. And main reason why I'm cutting it around the outline is because I don't want to waste too much of my foam board with some blank spaces. So this will be one piece. Now I'm not going to do this part of it, but some people, if they want to, they can, but I'm going to leave this aside. Now that I have the main piece is wasted. Okay, you can see here I have the pieces with the spray glue on this foam board. I'm gonna let this dry before I work on it, because it's very important to let it dry, because when you take your knife to cut it, you don't want it to be still wet, because it's going to make it harder to cut and you might actually end up ripping the top while cutting it. So let's let this dry. Now this part I didn't put on foam core yet, and the reason why is this has a lot of intricate folds. So I do plan to back certain parts of this with foam core, and certain parts I probably will not, but it might be cut to fit. So, but first, one thing I want to do is get all the lines correct. So you can see here, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but you can see where all the folds are at, and I want to make sure I mark them. But I'm not going to mark them on the front. I'm actually going to mark them on the back, and to do that I'm going to take my hobby knife here, and make sure you work with a new blade. I just replaced this blade because you don't want to work with a dull blade. So in here you can see all the areas to fold. I'm going to first mark off the areas to fold that are straight across. So there are a few areas here, like up here and up here, that are actually just straight across folds, and I'm going to put a little line here right there. And the main reason is I want it to show up on the other side. If it can be seen, I don't know if you can see that part, but that indentation is being shown up here. So got that one, and over here I'm going to do the same as well, because I want it to show up on the other side. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to take my pen here. So I have a little pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually putting the crease, or at least helping the crease on the back side of this. So when I do fold it, it'll be a little bit easier to fold. And I'm just going to do that by drawing a line. So this line is basically matching the crease, and I'm actually going at it a little hard, because basically while I am making this line, I'm actually trying to make the crease that messy. And doing it on the back side hides the marking. Even though we're folding it back, but we're gonna fold it the other way. But it's basically so that we're getting that crease in. So here we go. And that way the folds will be nice and clean on it. As you can see, it's starting to take shape. Again, I'm not folding them all the way because I know they're going to be at a different angle. For example, this part is going to be like this. So I don't want to go too crazy on the folds. But you get the idea of how it's going to start forming once we attach this panel on to the foam board. Now, this part I might put a piece of foam on, so what I'll do with that is I'll just measure this out straight and then stick it on. But for now, we're gonna leave it as is and take a look at the foam that we put on, the adhesive, this guy. So for the foam parts, as you can see here, I cut them into a little bit more manageable sizes because it's just a lot easier to work with. So to do that, just show you on this one. First, you break the top layer of the paper. From there, you can just go like that. You don't have to be too clean on this part because you're just kind of making these larger foam pieces smaller. So let's start with this. Again, I'm going to make sure I line perfectly. Now there is a bleed on this, meaning it does have some, you don't cut it at the outer edge. there's a line that you cut it at, but it will bleed with the color. So first cut, and I like to use these guys because they're just so much thicker. So the first cut again is to break the top layer, and another slide. As well, and have my glue gun, and I always like to test just a little bit. So the plan of action, I have these 3 parts to glue to the back panel. Basically, I'm going to glue here, this guy first, and then this guy, and then last but not least, the top piece. And I mark this side, you can see these holes, to represent that this is the back. This faces the back, like so. Wait, let's get this glued up. I'm going to carefully put glue on the inner edge because I don't want it to bleed. And I kind of got to work a little quick with this because I don't want it to cause a big mess. There we go. But I'm using hot glue just because it's